Hi, I'm Drew at Total Calibration, and today I'm going to show you how you can control the user interface in Lanteria for the different user roles. So what I'm going to do, I'm logged in here as an employee. So you can see here I'm actually got the employee role. But what we suggest you do, if you actually are an HR user doing this, we actually suggest that you create a separate employee, a dummy employee, that you can log in as the employee role. And the reason for that is if you are an HR user and you're trying to check what it looks like for an employee, because you have that higher level permission, it's not going to give you a true indication. And I'll show you what I mean just before we jump into that. So let's bring up, if I bring up my record here, where are we here? I'll just move my face down there. Now I'm logged in as the HR user. Now this along the top here is the ribbon, okay? And what I can see is controlled by my HR user role. Then everything below here is called the employee card. That's also controlled, different sections I can see based on my role. Now, if I then open up the same screen, but if I go to the employee role, okay, and I bring up my details, it's going to be the same, right? So I'm not going to see what an employee sees because of my elevated permission. So what I do, I've got another user over here, Lisa, and she does not have elevated role, she just has employee. So if I click on her details, notice that these buttons up here, the ribbon, there's a greatly reduced number of buttons, and also there's a greatly reduced number of sections and fields. In fact, if I click on the edit button, that list is even further restricted. You can see here we've said, okay, she can only update preferred name, citizenship, driver's license number, etc. So what we want to do first of all is actually change it. We do not want an employee to be able to change their citizenship. Okay, so how do we do that? All right, so we go back to our employee as our HR role, and we want to go into, just switch over to the HR interface. And if we want to go into settings, configuration, and we go down to system settings, and then we're going to go to ribbon editor. Okay, so the ribbon editor is, just to clarify, to go back, the ribbon editor is going to control what we see up here. Then we'll do the field second. Okay, so let's just say we wanted to hide the salary history from the employees. Okay, let's go and do that. We'll go back to the ribbon editor. I suggest you open this in a new tab. I like to. So this screen can be a bit scary, but just type in here employee, and then you want to grab this one here. So list employee display form, and we were going to want to go to set up ribbon. So here are our tabs, okay? And we said we wanted to hide salary history. So if I just click on the edit action, now you can see here that the roles that can actually see that one are HR manager, employee, and local HR. So if I took out employee and just save that, there's a bunch of other stuff that you don't really need to see. And then I go back to Lisa and I refresh. You can actually just refresh the pop-up window by right-clicking and choosing refresh frame. You'll notice it's gone. Okay, so that's how easy it is to modify the ribbon. You just go in and you choose whether or not the employee or whichever role can see it or not. So we'll just put it back. Very simple. And do the same thing again, refresh. There's our salary history. So the next thing, like I said, we're going to do is we're going to change it so that Lisa cannot modify the, so it's actually in the personal details. We don't want employees to be able to modify their citizenship. We want that to be something that's just HR can do. So we go back to our, over here. Now this time we want to go to core HR and we want to go to, I think it's employee database and employee card designer. I actually have in my menu settings, and this is another video, but in my user interface, I've got these available via a single click from here. We'll cover that separately. So each of these here, we see these are the actual section headings. So you can see we've got a button to create a new section, a button to create new fields. We can go and remove fields, or we can choose who can actually see and edit those sections. So the one we were interested in is personal details. So let's go down to that. And all we're going to do is choose edit section. Actually, we're going to move, in this case, if we wanted to prevent the employee from editing all fields in that section, all we would need to do is remove it from the edit role. So you can see here that the employee can view that section and the employee can also edit that section. So if we wanted to completely remove their ability to edit that section, we can just actually remove that. And then again, if we go back to employee and then we were to go to edit, she will no longer be able to edit personal details because of that setting change. So we'll just put that back. We want to go in and edit the section again, and we want to put back the employee's ability to edit in that section. Blech. All right, let's go back again and just show you how that works. Notice I can now do that. So what I need to actually do is move the citizenship field into a different section that the employee can't edit. So for example, I could just put it under, let's create a new section called citizenship and, or we call it citizenship details. Okay, we'll keep it simple. So we're going to create a new section. We want to call it citizenship and nationality. Now the order, look, I'm just going to put it as 10 for now. We'll come back to that in a minute. That we'll choose where we want it to go. So we want the employee to be able to view it and we want HR. Now I want my employees to, I don't want employees to be able to edit this, but I want my HR roles too. And I don't want the manager to even see this in this case. So we do have that granular capability. Now we want to scroll down and see where in the actual, where it's positioned. So where are we here? Let me have a look. Citizenship and nationality. Okay, so I want to move that down under personal details. So let's just see what the section number of personal details is. It's 30, and I'll see what section number address details is. I like to do them as 10, 20, 30, 40. That way it's really easy to slide one of these in the middle. So we'll just make it 35. If that makes sense. So now if we look here, it actually has gone from after personal details in between address. Now, there's a limitation. You cannot have the same field in two sections. So we actually have to remove it. Don't worry, you're not deleting anything. All you're doing is saying don't show that field in that section. The data stored in that field is still retained. Now I can go and add from existing fields, and I'm just going to type in C for citizenship. There's one more option here. This is where we get to say, where does that field show up? On creating a new employee? Yes. On displaying an employee card? Yes. And when we edit it? Yes. There are some specific reasons why you might not do that. And we might also put the Australian resident field in that section as well. So I'll just remove it from up there and we'll add the Australian resident. Yes, yes, yes. All right, let's go see the fruits of our work. So first of all, if we look at it in the context of, we look at it in the context of an HR user, we can do that. You can click on these to collapse them, by the way, or expand them. You can see here, I actually added the wrong field. I added Aboriginal dialect, but it doesn't matter. You can see, how this works. And if I choose to edit that, obviously I will be able to edit those fields. Right, okay. But if we go into the employee view, and if I now refresh that frame, of course you can close that down and just reopen it, but it just obviously saves you a few clicks to do that. Now we can see that I can view both those fields, but if I then click on edit, I can't, because we set that section up so the employee could view it, but they couldn't edit it. So that's just a really quick run through of how to use the employee card designer and the ribbon editor in Lanteria to provide granular control over what functions an employee can access and also what information fields they can see. Thank you.